My name is Sean, and this is my introductory speech. I'd like to start off with a question. When you hear the word electronics, what do you think of? Playing games on a console, using your computer for schoolwork, or texting friends on your phone? But is that all there is to the word electronics? Just a medium to convey the content you want at that time? I'd beg to differ that there's a whole other side of electronics that most people don't even give a second thought to. That being the design elegance or recommissioning of electronics well past their expiration date. Individuals with this interest are most commonly called tinkerers. A tinkerer, and more specifically an electronics tinkerer, is someone who enjoys experimenting with electronics and their components. As you may have already guessed, I am an electronics tinkerer. Many people say they have an understanding of electronics or may just be interested in electronics. Most of the time this interest or understanding is on a superficial level with no great deal of understanding of the inner workings of many common devices. On the other hand, the way that I understand electronics and how that relates to tinkering is that I look at these devices not as a magical object, but a system of complex, interconnected, smaller components which is designed by some of the brightest engineers around today. How does one get an interest in the fundamentals of something seemingly so complex on a surface level? Well, it's not actually the textbook fundamentals that are what gravitate me the most. It's the ability to understand a design and almost step into the engineer's shoes and see how they devised a solution to a problem. This looking back at problem solving and seeing how these brilliant people could solve problems with sometimes such simple solutions almost makes it its own form of art. This artistic simplicity is where one of my main hobbies grew its roots, my interest in reviving and reusing post-war and mid-century electronics. Why have an interest in putting effort into something seemingly old and outdated? With past projects, and thus experience, typically, the older a device and the more complex functionality, the more the trait of engineering to perfection and the sense of artistry shows through. And this perfection that shows these devices were created by some of the smartest people of their time. This key trait of design ingenuity follows me to my day job as an automotive technician. No other time in history have cars been more intertwined with electronics than today, and likely more so in the future. With cars basically running every bell and whistle with electricity today, consumers are expecting more and more out of their vehicles. There is no other way to produce a modern vehicle other than to use proven and well thought through design choices. And this adds back to the entire reason I'm a tinkerer at heart, which is the simplicity that can be taken to achieve such a high goal, such as the case of producing a modern automobile. All of these complexities and creature comforts in a modern car that the consumer wants all eventually lead to something breaking. But I take this as a positive because it lets me have a foot in the door, so to speak, on how the design team solves a problem. Being able to take the time to understand the underlying functionality, whatever it may be, and being able to repair it and turn someone else's headache into a job well done, that's why I love what I do. So remember, some people may love electronics and the entertainment or tools they provide, but others may have a more in-depth meaning when they say they love working with electronics and tinkering. It could be the almost artistic value of mid-century electronics design, or the ability to take part in a much larger design effort, such as in the automotive realm. It could even be the ability to take something, such as, say, a radio from the 1940s, and have a functional piece of history from 80 years ago. I will continue to meld the world of electronics in many ways and awe at the elegance of engineering design. When will you go beyond having electronics be simply an entertainment medium or information source? Thank you for your time.